I was mainly came to here for them to help me get a good job and work on my working skills.
He was pretty shy that day. Didn't do a lot of talking. His mother had to answer most of the questions. When we finished the survey, of course, he signed all the paperwork and took him on a tour of the center and walked out. And once he saw the workshop and once he saw the folks out there working, he got the sparkle in his eye and just a huge smile on his face. And it's just like, this is really for me.
When he came into the classroom setting, his limitations were pretty prominent. Once you went to start completing applications or anytime there was a board assignment, he would sometimes come up with a reason why he needed to be excused from the room. But after that first week, his limitations, we saw that it was going to be a little bit of a challenge.
All right, now, Thomas, when you get in this thing, before you put your finger on the trigger.
Thomas had some problems in the beginning, following orders and directions and just not knowing exactly how to go about and do something or complete a task correctly. But the staff in the center had worked out a method where they helped him to, when they provided instructions, they kind of worked out instructions where they did it on a step level. So they would talk about one step first, the second step, and then the third step until Thomas completed it. But after that second week, you'd go out there and see him at lunchtime, and I'd walk out in the back and just take a peek to see what he was up to, and he'd be out there laughing and smiling and talking, and so that was just really great. I knew that we were home free when he got to that point.
When Thomas started here, he was a follower. He didn't go out on his own. If there was a job to be done, he'd want to be paired with a friend. Through the time, he sort of became his own person. He sort of broke out by himself. It's like a horse race almost. They come out of a gate and you know, they're making that stride towards the finish line, and some of them just let up and say, there it is, and he just, you know, kept running and sort of left the others in the dust.
As he went through the program, he was always interested in employment. That was something he said, now I'm here at the center, I like it here and I like the people here, but I don't want to stay here. You know, I really want a job in the end. I want to be able to have a job.
Here in the center, sort of a proving grounds for them. If they can show us, they can show the maturity and stay on job task, we'll give them the opportunity to leave the work center and do the off-site job at Fruit of the Loom in Clinton.
And Thomas would do anything in order to get to go to Renfro. He often acted, after he overcame some of his shyness, he often acted as the team leader, thinking that would get him brownie points to be able to go to the Renfro contract.
And Melissa and Steve and I were standing outside the walkway right there in the center. And Thomas came up to us and he said, you know, I've made progress with my production. I'm able to do tasks correctly. I'm at Renfro now. You know, like I'm at 100% now with my production skills. He said, I'm able to follow instructions. He said, you know, I think it's time for me to get a job. And he said, I really want to work with animals. He said, I've had pets in the past, and he said, I really want to work with animals. That's what I want to do.
I had an idea. My idea was either somewhere in the animal business. Not where exactly, I don't know, but somewhere in it.
Steve and Melissa and I looked at each other and we said, well, we just need to start making some contacts. I said, if you tell me you're ready, I'm going to take your word for it. You're ready to go.
One day I was just combing through the phone book, and I came across Home Veterinary Clinic, and I immediately called them and just connected with the office manager there. And she said, well, I won't make you any promises, but bring him down for an interview.
Thomas, when he first came in, he was a little bit on the shy side, but he was extremely eager, and I knew just by meeting him and seeing his personality that he would be fabulous with the animals because he would have a rapport with them, and he does.
When I was very young, I always liked cats and dogs, petting them, and to talk to them.
So when he first came, and we decided to hire him on a trial basis, and at that time housing was an issue, I had told Thomas and his mother that if Thomas stayed with me, then Thomas would have transportation to and from work, and that way that I could help him a little bit extra at home, which he did. He moved in with me for a couple of months, and that was really great. It was a lot of fun.
She and I were constantly in contact with one another. We had weekly, sometimes bi-weekly contact as far as updating on the progress Thomas was having. If there was a obstacle in the road and we needed to drop back, regroup, we were constantly in contact with one another to see what we needed to do as far as making this successful for Thomas.
Anything I needed, any questions that I needed answered, Melissa and her staff, they were just right there on the spot. They were great, fabulous.
And our whole staff really worked with him. And staff up at the veterinarian office, they were real good, especially Debbie. She really bent over backwards for him. And he's made it on his own, don't get me wrong, but we all chipped in as a big team.
I believe if you have a good job, you have to like it.
You can call Thomas up on the interphone to go bring a dog back, and you can tell by his response that it's a joy. Yeah, sure. You know, and we sit and comment about it weekly about, listen to Thomas. We're all frustrated or run ragged, and Thomas is pleased to come up and do his job, and that's a steady with Thomas.
That's the unique thing with Thomas, because once he gained confidence in himself, he was out there giving confidence to everybody out in the center. If you were having a bad, he'd come up to me and say, "Richard, you're not smiling today like you usually smile." And I said, "Well, I'm just thinking about some things." He said, he'd always say, "Well, now be positive. Remember, that's what you've told me. Be positive and be happy about that you're here."
Okay. All right, Thomas, it was kind of steady, Mr. Fleming. Thomas is he's absolutely, positively the best. Never a bad word, never a bad mood. He cheers us up. He's been a blessing to us, more so than we have been to him, I guarantee.
He loves those animals back there, dogs or cats. He loves them both, and he looks forward to walking them. He gets to know them on a first-name basis, and clients love that too.
I have clients that specifically ask that Thomas take care of their pets, and he knows each and every pet by name. And you can't make better PR than that.
He just needed the opportunity, that's all.
Yeah, I'm proud of the entire team.
We not just say one work with them. More than one staff member goes in and we all get our heads together and find out what we need to do.
The center staff has been super. They're the ones that really put together his program to help him make the progress. They're the ones that really worked with him on a day-to-day basis to help get the instructions corrected and learn the steps and the teaching methods that he really needed to make the progress. The literacy teachers were just exceptional, and every time he would go back to class, they'd always come back, "Thomas is just doing great today. We're really proud of him." And he was getting all of these positive compliments from everybody, from the staff, from the teachers, and you know, Thomas was just beaming.
Best way you could summarize it is, you know, came here a boy and left a man, his own man.
I just like their help, and they've helped a lot, and I thank them for that.
The thing you have to look at with an individual is that as long as they're making positive steps, it doesn't matter how large the steps are. So it didn't really matter if it took a year or 2 years. As long as he's making the positive steps, then he's going to finally get there.